Hello guys, good morning. I hope everyone is doing good. So thank you so much for joining once again, and let's continue. As you can notice on our screen that we had a few questions, okay, and as you know that we discussed the questions first that I gave to you guys as a homework, and then we move on to the new topic. All right. The agenda for today would be to solve these two questions. Obviously, I hope you guys have done it, but those who haven't done it and they are still confused, I'll just give you an idea of how to solve these questions, and then we'll move on. Okay. And the main topic that we have today is limited broadcast and direct broadcast. Okay. So basically, whenever we talk about broadcast address, okay, so there are a few things to it. Okay. So we are supposed to talk about that as well. Okay. So let's get started without any further delay. Okay. So the first question is, let me start with my editor page. Yeah, I am here, and I would love to answer today in this green color. Looks good. Yeah. Okay. So the question is, find network identifier and host identifier of the following. So this is one question, right? So since we have studied only classful addressing till now, so first I'll identify what is the class of this address. So please quickly tell me in the chat box what is the class of this address. Yes, Amit, correct. So it is class C. It is a class C address, right? So that's that. So in class C, we already know the first three octets are reserved for network IDs and the last one is reserved for host IDs, right? So if I'll talk about the subnet mask first, okay, don't worry, we already have solved the question, but yeah, we need to deal with a lot of things. So just for the sake of revision, can we identify the subnet mask of class C? Yes. So network bits are changed to 1, host bits are changed to 0, so it would be 255.255.255.0. Since this is class C, so can I say this part is part of my network bits, this is part of my host bits, right? So if I'll talk about network identifier, so what is my network identifier? It is 201.202.203.0. But if I'll talk about host identifier was 204, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Again 160, 170. So what is the class? Is correct, Priya. So the class is class D, correct. First three are part of network identifiers, and the last, sorry, apologies, yeah, thank you so much for spamming my chat box. Yeah, so first two are part of network, last two are part of host. So I'll keep it as host and I'll keep it as network. So what is my network identifier? My network identifier is 160.170, and if I'm talking about network address, so it is 0.0 as well. If I'll talk about host identifier, so host identifier, the last two, that is 180.190. As simple as that. If I'll talk about subnet mask, we already know the first two octets are network IDs, so it means first two would be 255.255, and the rest two are host, so it would be 0.0. Simple, as simple as that. Nothing complicated till now, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to limited broadcast and direct broadcast. Okay. So if you remember, I told you that in class A we have 2 raised to power 8 networks and 2 raised to power 24 hosts per network. In class B we have 2 raised to power 16 and 2 raised to power 16. In class C we have 2 raised to power 24 and 2 raised to power 8. But usually I told you guys that we subtract this number by 2. Okay, the main reason of subtracting the number by 2 is first one address that is not given to any of the device is known as network address. Okay, network address. If I'll scroll up, so I can say that for this particular IP address, this is the network address. Okay, so we cannot assign network address to any device, because network address is nothing but your an identity that helps you to identify, or that helps one to identify the network. Okay, so you cannot assign that address to anyone. This is the first one. Okay, and the last one is broadcast address. Okay, so that's why we are subtracting 2 addresses in total. Okay, now what is a broadcast address? Okay, basically broadcasting is a procedure, okay, or is a method, okay, in which a sender wants to communicate with all the hosts of the current network or a different network. Okay, once again I'll repeat, broadcasting is the procedure in which a host wishes to communicate or wishes to send data to all the hosts of its own network, that is known as current network, or some other network. Okay, so what I mean to say is, so let's say we have different networks. Let's say this is my network 1. Okay, so I'll write 1 over here. Let's say this is my network 2. Okay, there are different hosts in between, so I'll design, beg your pardon, my drawing is actually very good. It is very good. Okay, so yeah, let's say there is one host. I'll just convert it in red. Okay, let's say this host that is here, okay, in red, wishes to transmit data, okay, wishes to transmit data to all the devices. This process is known as broadcasting. Okay, when a host wishes to communicate or wishes to send data to all the devices. Okay, but those all devices can be within the same network. That is one possibility. And all devices can be in other network as well. That is another possibility. Are you getting my point? Okay, so when a host wishes to communicate with all the devices of its current network or of its own network, the process is known as sorry, no, is it wrong? Yeah, the process is known as the process is known as limited broadcasting. Got it? But when this same device, this device that is highlighted in red, wishes to communicate with all the other devices of a different network, okay, of all the other devices of different network, then this process is known as directed broadcasting. Okay, got it? Now let's say the network ID for this network, that is network 2, is something like this: 192.193.194. okay, so since it is class C, so the last bit would be 0 as per network address. So this is the network address, okay, of this network. Let's assume the network address of this network is 170, 180, 190.200. This is also a network address, but of which it is of network number 1, right? So if I am supposed to, let's say I am trying to communicate from, okay, network address over here would be this last bit, last 2 bits would be what? They would be 0. Thank you, Kansha. Thanks for correcting me. Yeah. Okay. So this is my network address. Now, if any host of network 1 wants to send data or wants to communicate with all the hosts of network 1 itself, then it is going to use limited broadcasting. Okay. And what is that limited broadcasting address, or what is that broadcasting address? 255.255.255.255. Cool. Any doubt? So this address has been reserved for that purpose. But if any device of network 1, okay, if any device of network 1 wishes to communicate with all the other devices of network 2, it would be achieved with the help of direct broadcasting. And what is the address for that? Copy the network address as it is, or copy all the network bits as it is, and for host bits turn all the bits as ones. Okay, since it is 0, so if you are going to turn all the bits as ones, so it would be 255. So this one would be your direct broadcasting address, and this one is limited broadcasting address. Done. Any doubt? I hope things are clear. Okay, this thing is logical only, it is not complicated. Again I am going to repeat it, it is not complicated at all. Okay, you just need to look into it, that's it. Okay, so if you are not getting it, play the downloaded would be the downloaded video would be there on the portal itself. Just download it and work with it. Okay, so the videos are being recorded, so don't worry about it, the videos would be provided to you guys. Alright, so I hope your concept is clear. Okay, so now if I'll give you a few questions, okay, obviously I need to give you a homework. Okay, so today you are supposed to find, okay, no, actually we have done everything. Okay, let's say there is a device which wants to communicate with the network of this IP address. Okay, there is one device which wishes to communicate with the network having one of the IPs as this. Okay, find out the limited broadcast address, then directed broadcast address, and tell us the network address of this another network. Okay, these 3 parts. Alright, now our discussion of classful addressing is completed here. We are done with classful. Okay, classful addressing, and we can stop having discussions on it. Okay, now see, my funda was usually whenever wherever we see computer networks being taught, people usually start with OSI. Okay, OSI model, that is open system interconnection. It is a standard and not the working model. Alright, I could have started with this thing, but you needed to have some basics of IP. Okay, so the moment we are done with it, now we are done with the basics of IP. Now we can happily proceed with OSI. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to teach you about OSI. We are going to discuss all the layers that are there, how everything operates over there, what different features are offered, are offered by a particular layer, and what is the benefit of having one layer over the other one. Okay, so we are going to talk about OSI. Then obviously we haven't discussed CIDR, that is classless interdomain routing. So we haven't discussed classless addressing, we have only discussed classful. Okay, we'll jump on to classless addressing as well, but yeah, at the moment it is not mandatory to go through classless addressing. The reason being, I just wanted to tell you about IP addresses, how it looked like, what are different classes over there, why subnetting is used, network address, broadcast address, and limited and directed broadcast address. So since we are done with it, tomorrow we are going to talk about OSI, then we'll proceed with your content. Okay, I hope everyone has got everything. If you guys have any doubt, just note those doubts down, and we'll soon have one doubt class and you guys can raise your doubts over there. Alright, so thank you so much, thanks for joining the class. Bye bye, take care, have a nice day.